Following total atomic annihilation, the rebuilding of this great nation of ours may fall to you. That's why we here at Vault Boys WV will take you on an oral tour of the beautiful state of West Virginia. There's no other place to be better prepared for the impending fallout. Now we go live to our team of experts.
Hello and welcome to yet another week with Vault Boys WV, a mutated podcast crossbreeding our shared history in Appalachia with the post-apocalyptic state in Fallout 76. I am your country road scholar, Dave Chaffins, and joining me is my favorite, son of a Mothman, Austin O'Connor. How you doing, Austin?
I'm good. It feels like we were just doing this. I feel like it hasn't been...
It feels like that we started recording.
Yeah.
And then we had this whole conversation about the secrets of life.
Yeah. We answered the meaning of life.
The meaning of life, all of our great tips of how to play Fallout 76. Yeah. The secrets of West Virginia.
We found Jimmy Hoffa.
We found Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
And we met the Mothman. And that's
and then we realized that
the mics weren't recording.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that. And truthfully, I think what we were just discussing would have gone down as possibly one of the greatest podcasts of all time. It would have probably won. If there's some sort of podcast awards, I think we would have been up there as nominees.
Right.
And so it's a shame that it didn't record. I guess we'll just, people will never know what was discussed. And
there's in fact, I think, I don't know if I'd call him he's more of like a wise man.
Yeah.
Who once said that this is not the greatest song in the world. Yeah. This is just a tribute.
A tribute, yeah. I think that this episode is a tribute to the greatest podcast.
The 6 minutes of prime, you'll never...
We were really on our A game for those 6 minutes.
We came in very strong.
Yeah.
We talked about... we told you everything we talked about.
Everything we talked about was in that 6 minutes. We came prepared, and unfortunately, fortunately, I realized that my microphone was not recording the entire time.
Now I can guarantee you, since you were hearing both of us, that you can hear us.
Yes.
At least I hope.
Yes.
If this does not work, then you will not be hearing me.
But man, those 6 minutes, I had a tear in my eye at one point because to me, I realized that we were doing something special in those 6 minutes.
I think it was beautiful.
And it was honestly poetic when you think about it.
I think
it's one of those things like, in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, when at the end Sean Penn is shooting the snow leopard.
Right.
And then he just decides not to, because
right.
sometimes
and he
those beautiful
Stretch
things.
Armstrong and he's like...
Yeah. Well, sometimes those the most beautiful things in the world, they don't ask to be seen. They don't really need to be seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like the most beautiful podcasts in the world. Mm-hmm. Those 6 minutes were absolutely, mind-blowing. Mm-hmm. They don't need to be released. People don't necessarily need to hear that because just let it. If you love something, let it go, and if it comes back, it was meant to be.
After that, he punch the guy that was in Parks and Rec that was the mayor of Icetown. Yeah. Wasn't that like, I love the snow leopard. I'm going to go back and punch my boss.
That was one of his dreams early in the movie, I think.
Or was it?
It was Adam Scott.
Yeah, Adam Scott.
Because
I always think Adam Savage.
That was in the beginning when they're in the elevator and he's like, give it to me, man. And it was like you said, it was Stretch Armstrong. And then there was a whole scene of them surfing on concrete slabs they pulled up from the road. Holding on to his arms. Because he's supposed to
be, he's real imaginative and stuff.
Yeah. To me, very underrated movie. I loved that movie. But,
Well, how's your week been?
Week has been good. In kind of your fashion early in the podcast, I actually had to go to the dentist on Monday. Are
you going to spring it on me?
Listen, this is a surprise.
Okay.
All of these teeth are fake now. I actually got full dentist. No, I'm just kidding. So over the weekend, I started having this weird pain.
Yeah.
I was at a bar on Saturday, and I had gotten a glass of water. Lame. Yeah. My friends made fun of me. So I got this glass of water, and I was just, trying to stay hydrated.
You were downing that glass of water. You were like... I'm gonna make
because I'm not trying to. I'm not. I've taken a step back from drinking when I go out and everything. So I was having a glass of water.
You're doing some adulting.
Yeah, I was having a glass of water, and I bit down on. There was some ice. It was ice water, and I was gonna crunch some ice, and I bit down, and I felt this like excruciating pain. Jesus. And I was like, that's not good. And it was right where I had a filling when I was a kid. So I was like, maybe I just cracked that filling open. So I got in Monday morning. I go in, and I'm still in a little bit of pain. And I told the dentist, and she's looking through everything. And she's like, Austin, I don't see anything. Everything looks fine. And she's like, let's do some x-rays. Well, right now I don't currently have dental insurance because I'm waiting because I have to do the open enrollment with my job now.
Your job, yeah.
Because I was still under the impression where I'm 25 that I still had until my 26th birthday to be on my mom's dental insurance.
See, here's the thing. To interrupt real quick, I spent a while where I thought I had dental insurance, and then I was in a discussion with, and this is like right when I got my first job out of college, and I just had the regular health insurance that they had at the company. Man, I could add on for dental. I was like, no, I think my parents have that because they had specifically said. And then I was talking to them. It was like several years ago. I was like, I'm thinking about going to get my teeth cleaned. They were like, well, do you have dental insurance? I was like, well, I sure hope so.
It's like, do I?
Do I have dental insurance?
You should know.
They were like, no, we haven't had you insured since you were like 20.
Oh, man.
I was like,
oh boy, thanks, guys.
No.
Yeah. So what happened was I thought I was under my mom still, but I'm still under her health insurance.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten at my last job I had signed up for dental through there, so I had it through there.
You had it through there.
Forgot I had done that, so I skipped open enrollment when I started my next job, and so I have to wait until like July for it to kick in. So she's like, "Let's do X-rays." I was like, "Let's not do X-rays because that's like $1,500 right there for that." So she looked at everything, and apparently, according to them, I have a stress fracture in my jaw. She asked me, "You been chewing ice?" I said, "Yeah, that's actually when I felt the pain." I've chewed ice my whole life. It's something I shouldn't do.
People do, I didn't realize this till a few years ago, but people chew ice pretty regularly.
Yeah.
That's like
I used to think I was like anemic, I think is the condition. They do that a lot.
That's a telling, yeah. It's like low iron in your blood. You start chewing ice.
I've always
Because I think my sister had that, and she was chewing ice for years, and then she went to the doctor, and was like, I think you're iron deficient. Do you always chew ice? And she was like, yeah.
It's such a weird telltale. It's like such a weird sign. But I've had my blood work checked before, and they always said it was fine. There was no deficiency. I think I just, from an early age, I did it, and then it almost became habitual. Like when I would have a drink, I would always kind of chew the ice a little bit. Yeah. And that she was like, don't do that anymore. And last night, I had gotten a sweet tea from Bojangles. And I found myself chewing it on this side, like on the opposite side of my mouth. And I had to stop. I had to stop. I was like, okay. Like I can't. I was like, I'm already down this side for like a month until this heals a little bit. So I can't do double. So yeah. So a little bit of pain. I'm kind of like, the way I'm looking at it, like the way Michael Jordan played through the flu. That's me right now.
That's you right now.
You're
here.
Truthfully, like
you're flapping your jaw about.
I think this is just as impressive. Like he had the flu, cool, and he dropped like 40 points, whatever. Who cares? And it was the playoffs. I think I don't know, whatever.
Right.
But like me, like I'm doing a lot of talking right now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel great.
No.
But like I'm powering through, and I hope that our listeners understand.
Yes.
That like I'm really giving it my all right now.
You are.
So like I'm not trying. Like I'm only like I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm not like trying to brag. I just think that what I'm doing right now is more impressive than Michael Jordan playing a playoff game through the flu. And I don't think that's that outlandish to say. You guys can let me know if you think it is, but I'm just going with it. I think that I don't know. I do it for you guys.
Everybody send just sit down to yourselves and send like a spiritual stim pack to Austin now and just like heal him.
I thought I was going to get a shot in the gum that day because I was under the impression I was going to have to get my filling fixed. So I went in there ready for a needle in my gum. Came out and well, they were really nice though. It took a while to get seen because it was an emergency, but
with emergency situations, it's tough. With any emergency medical situation, unless you're like dying.
Yeah. My dentist, she's a sweetheart, so it was nice. Good. But yeah, so just powering through, powering through the workday. powering through the podcast.
Getting it ready. Well, with that, we will move into our next segment.
This has been Dental Talk with Dave and Austin.
All right, Austin, this week on From Appalachia, I didn't bring the notes from the last Inside the Vault because it was pretty cut and dry. I did think it was funny that they were like, there's a regular time that they released them, and they were like, okay, we're going to push it off a day so we can get more information.
Yeah.
And then when they released it, it was just like, we're putting the bug fixes out.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sounds
then
good.
we got a full list of the bug fixes within Fallout 76, and it was like somewhere like of around 150 different bug fixes that they implemented in the last patch. So that's really good. A lot of
Very nice.
They fixed a big method that people were using to duplicate items that was causing server stress. So people were intentionally creating stress on the server so that way they could trick the server into believing that after they put items in a container that they were both in a container and on their person. So they were essentially overloading I think there was a few methods overloading the servers and
Those little
duplicating
rascals.
these items, and then they were even selling them. They were selling them on like different forum marketplaces for like thousands and thousands of caps, and then you started to see them pop up on eBay where people were like, you could pay $25 to get like a 3-star legendary shotgun that explodes and has is holographic and
It's like, is it really worth
no
going through that much trouble? Just play the game.
Just play the game.
Just do your thing, man.
Yeah, I am not. People are really
Each
weird.
his own, I guess. I don't know
about that. Another one of the things is that there's like, and it's still an issue, is that bobbleheads are a consumable item within the game.
Yeah,
they give you boosting effects. They can. I'm pretty sure that they can still stack. Mm-hmm. So that means somebody can duplicate 1,000 bobbleheads, take 60 of them, and get like 2 billion% times more gun damage, which means that you could walk up to a player in pacifist and just one-shot them without them engaging you. So
I saw a few people complaining about that.
There's just some, and I think it's a lot of these people are gonna die die off from playing it. I think.
Yeah,
the
hopefully.
people that are really trying to like
We can only hope.
play the system, because it's really like the game, like the online portion of it is designed for kind of almost like fun and silliness rather than it's not very competitive. It's not a very competitive game whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel like everyone.
I think they're
I've never
adding
had
in-
someone just intentionally attack me to like one up.
There's
me
no
on-
goal other than just like the fun of attacking another person.
Yeah, and every single person I've come across, it has been like a wave, and then just something silly, like just a couple emotes, and then maybe we team up. Like everyone seems to just be like, I'm just gonna have a good time.
Have a good time. Everybody that I've had one instance where this is my only bad experience with a bad player. And it was all like, it was all through like legitimate means. His original means. Well, anyways, went to a bunker of sorts out there at the Greenbrier. And he had managed to turn all of the robots in this bunker hostile against players. And so me and my buddy walked in, and he had a bounty on his head. And so we were going to go in there and collect on it, and it was like 200 caps or something. Oh. And we went and killed him, and he had like this inordinate amount of junk. So he was probably duplicating items. So we took it, stored it in our stash. We killed him. We managed to get through the robots because, like, you just run through them and you can kill the guy. And the guy was just running around naked because he thought he was funny. And then he got really mad. And then we were at a workshop, and this guy just like kept showing up and kept attacking us. And we just kept on respawning because we didn't have anything. And he was trying to get his stuff back. And he got on the mic, and he was like cussing at us and being like, I can't believe you guys suck. You guys are, being wimps and other choice words.
Yeah.
To us, but
People take it too seriously.
that was in like the first month of playing it, and ever since
Yeah.
then I've had all very nice. People just come to the Squat and Gobble. They give me a thumbs up. They give me a heart emote.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, overall, like everybody I've talked to, or even if I'm not on a mic and I run into somebody, it's typically like a hey, you know, they'll wave or follow me around for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've had people, you know, offer me stim packs or offer to trade. Everybody seems to be really chill, which I've enjoyed. And that was my fear, and we talked about that in previous episodes. Was, you know,
that
there's
people
always
weren't going to
gonna
behave in like a nice way and make the game unenjoyable.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It was sort of
Yeah.
And then I've gotten the chance to play with a few of the listeners, and you've played with some of us. And
Yeah, I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about. So I want to get down to your brass tacks here because let me tell you, you started playing Fallout 76 in the beta, and you were like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I was just skeptical because there were. It's funny to say because we do a podcast on the game.
Yeah.
I love the world of Fallout.
We have feelings.
Yeah, I love the world of Fallout, and I love West Virginia. So I'm always, wanting to discuss it.
Right.
This game in particular, at first, the game and I got off to a rocky start.
Yeah.
And
whereas I just like went full hog.
You went all in. You were all in from the
full
jump. And like I told you a few times, I was like, man, I want to love this game.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get past a lot of the issues still. But I understood the issues. That was the thing. I wasn't like, I hate this game, I'm never going to play it, blah, blah, like some people were.
Right.
I wasn't like that. I was just like, I was frustrated with a lot of the problems I was having.
Yes.
And I took some time off, and I finished everything I could on Red Dead and played a couple other games. And then I really kind of took a few weeks off from video games around the holidays.
Just for the holidays.
I didn't want to play much.
Yeah. But you got back from the holidays.
After that, and I told you, I was like, I think, you
made a New Year's resolution on an episode of this podcast that I want to play more Fallout.
I said I want to give it an honest chance. Like I want to get into it, and even if I get frustrated, I'm going to keep pushing through. Yeah. And I did. And you helped me, and a few other people helped me.
It started with, I was like, okay, we're just going to play together. We're just going to go and hang out and play together.
Yeah.
And we booted up, and we were just hanging around, just like trying to go through and do stuff. And then we got joined in by
It was J-Max.
J-Max.
That's my dude right there. I was playing with him the other day. He has helped me a lot as well. J-Max. There were a few others, but I don't remember. It was funny because we've been joined by people that don't listen to the show. But then there have been people that do listen to the show.
I've had people that walk up to me and puke in front of me at the Squat N Gobble, and I'm like, do you know what you just did? It's like when you're in the fraternity and a guy comes up to you and does the secret handshake, and you're like, are you sure?
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, so you're not a listener. We were playing with J-Max. We played with my buddy Steven from the UK.
Yeah.
He's played with us, which I want to give him a shout out. He and his wife just had a baby boy.
That's right.
Yesterday, I believe. So congratulations to him. And then we've played with a few other people. The fun thing was getting my buddy Mike, who has really never played an RPG in his life.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. First of all, it was funny that
you were there for it.
I was there for it. But the first night that we played it together, the listeners that we were playing with were from West Virginia.
Yeah.
And so the guy was like, yeah, I'm from Clarksburg.
Yeah.
And that's pretty destroyed in this game.
Yeah. It's like, well, yeah. So like they knew as much as we did about West Virginia.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we got my buddy Kevin. He got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to try it. So he was on. So then it was me, you, Kevin, and then Mike was in the party. And Mike,
he just joined the party, and he was playing some other game.
So he always plays typically either like Fortnite or he loves sports games. He's a big baseball fan.
He's playing Madden, I think.
Yeah. And it's just funny. I'm glad you got to listen to it because Mike, it was like as we kept talking about Fallout, he started feeling left out. He was like, He was like, "Are you guys playing that Fallout game?" We were like, "Yeah." He said,
we kept on talking about like, oh, you got to repair your weapons.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure. Do you have any acid? I've got acid. Yeah.
Then he heard that you build fort, like you could build your fort.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you build in that game?" Okay.
Is it like Fortnite?
Yeah.
Like,
he was like, "Well, honestly, like you guys aren't." And then he, like I could tell he was like, "You guys aren't going to like make fun of me for being bad at it." And I knew we had him at that point. And then he literally downloaded it right then and there.
Bought it like on the spot.
Yeah. And what's funny is it's been like he played with us a little that night, and he's played a lot with me since then. He and I have jumped on, and it's been funny as he's followed me around on quests to listen to someone who had really never played an RPG before learn the world of Fallout, especially with this one being the first Fallout that he plays.
And just the first RPG that he has played.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of, I think I've heard him say, "Bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know." And like he'll just say that over and over again. But he also says that he's having fun. So that's been good. And he's like almost like he's like over level 20 now. Like he's working up, which it's helped because I kind of did the same thing with him that you did with me, where I was like, get a couple shots in on this guy and I'll kill him and you'll get the XP. Yeah. And he's kind of roamed around with me a little bit. But it's been fun seeing him start because I think he enjoys the game now. I think he wants to play like Fallout 3 and 4 and New Vegas. He's mentioned like wanting to maybe go back and learn more about the like kind of the base of like where the game came from. Which I told him, I was like, start with 3. I was like, just play 3. I was like, I told him 4 is essentially 76, just not online and in Boston. Like it's you're gonna get kind of the same. It's the
same mechanics outside of the leveling system.
Yeah. So I told him 3 is definitely. The game itself might make more sense if you go back and play 3 and get a feel for that, like because that's where I think most people fell in love with Fallout.
Well, if he had played Fallout 76 before the 2019 started, he could have gone back and played Fallout 1 and 2 and really gotten it. Because guess what? I have played some of just because it was freaking free.
You've been going back.
I've been going back and playing. Old boys.
I'm sure those were like top down, like weren't they like?
Yeah, they were like top down, like CRPGs. Like they were pretty
basic.
They're pretty basic, but a lot of, in my opinion, Fallout 76 is the most like mechanically. Not necessarily mechanically, because combat is different. But like some of the like interaction that you have like in multiplayer is interaction that you would have like so like everybody in the game that you can talk to, you can trade with.
Yeah,
like that's one thing. You could trade with anybody. You could just like open it up, and they may have like 20 caps, or they may have a bunch of different stuff. And it's kind of a similar thing in like Fallout. And then people are so sparse in that game, and you go these long distances, and it's interesting going back.
I'm sure it's cool because then you get even more of a feel for where everything originated.
Well, it's interesting to see what like where, because Fallout 3 is like where Elder Scrolls and the old Fallouts met, and I think that it did a lot of things. It did a lot of things right and continued on a formula that works pretty well. And it's cool to see those similarities.
No, I agree with you. But yeah, it's just been fun because, like I said, going back to the game and giving it a second chance, it really was just, I had to break through that wall. Like, and I've mentioned that to you. There was just, I couldn't pinpoint what it was that was keeping me from enjoying it. It was just a kind of a combination.
Did you find out what it was?
I think honestly, I was overthinking a lot of it, but at the same time, I wasn't paying attention to things I should have been paying attention to, like building my base, my camp.
Yeah,
and having that camp, I think just in the past with Fallout games, I've always been more of just a run and gun, just roam around.
You were going from, you're not focused on like, you're just
going to quest to quest. I just wanted to learn more about the story.
Where this game is more
run
like,
around.
This is my area.
Yeah.
I go out and I do a few things, and I come back.
You're more of an
actual like, decompress.
You're more of an actual settler. Like in like especially Fallout 3, I just went wherever I wanted to go. And as I leveled up, I got stronger to where I didn't have to worry about it.
You didn't need to go to Rivet City all the time.
I just went and did whatever I wanted. If I wanted to go up here to this corner of the map and just look around, and then, but now I've found it seems like every time I do a quest or if I'm out just trying to level up, collect things, fast travel back to my base, my camp, check everything out, get some water, I've got some plants, do that.
Repair
any repairs, maybe add some stuff if I've got the parts, and then I'm back out. And so that has become more of like a stability for me, I think, and it's made me level up a lot better because I'm just preparation for what I'm about to go do is now better. And I didn't think about the game that way before I started doing the camp. I still was looking at it as, I'm just going to go run and gun. But I don't think that that's really, some people probably do it, but I just think it's so much more feasible and it just makes more sense in this game to have a camp.
Yeah.
And it made me slow down. I was like, okay, I don't have to do as much. Like I don't have to be stressed out by all of these things going on. I can, if I want to, I can just go back to my base. Like I can just go.
You can just start. Sometimes
take care of whatever I need.
I'll be out and I'll die to something. And I'll be like, I'm just going back to my camp. I'm not going to respond.
You just feel safe. Like I'm going to go back here, and I can chill out and not worry about anything. I can maybe I need to in real life I need to send a text real quick.
Yeah,
I can't just. I don't feel comfortable. I'll get killed out, by an enemy if I'm not looking. I go back to my base for like 5 or 6 minutes. Like I said, get some water, get my food,
like a mental
scrap
reset.
everything. If I need to send a text, I need to run into the kitchen, get something to drink. Like it's like base. It's like when you're playing tag and you're safe on home base. You just go back and chill. And so I started doing that, and then now I'm addicted to trying to build and change everything about the camp
get
and
the plans and
the
think
plans,
about where the plans are, and gotta go get those.
Crafting with the weapons, I've gotten into that now. So it's the only thing that I've had trouble with. My turrets, like they are not doing their job.
Here's the thing, and here's an honest thing.
Yeah,
worthless.
It's
a waste.
They kill like 1 of every 5 enemies for me. Like I'll be inside and I'll start hearing mole rats going crazy against the barrier.
They cost too much to repair. They take up too much of your budget.
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
I have like 3 set up.
I even have. I was like, I'm gonna get the missile turrets because I want to be like. Somebody's got to have that perk card to build these missile turrets, and I want to be the guy that can do that.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I had 4 missile turrets versus a Deathclaw, and they were up above, and I was fighting the Deathclaw, and I was doing way more damage than the missile turrets were.
Yeah, it's weird because sometimes mine do work. Like I spawned back, I fast traveled to my base, and there were 3 super mutants, and they took them out, and I was like, oh, awesome. And then it was there was one of the wild mongrel dogs or whatever. There were 2 of those.
Yeah.
I watched it because I just wanted to see what would happen. I waited 3 minutes and they still hadn't taken them out. They just kept missing or just not firing at all. I was like, what do I have these for?
That's why I moved the Squat N Gob from above the steakhouse in the Cranberry Bog down into Charleston, because I was I was fighting level 50 super mutants every time I got on. Anytime somebody visited my camp, it was a never-ending onslaught of super mutants.
Yeah.
And so I was no.
I met up with, so there was a guy I played with the first night the game came out. I don't know his real name. I know him as Ski.
Ski?
Yeah. So Ski, I'll call him Ski.
Ski.
He's a level probably 80 something now.
Yeah.
And so he has set his base up in the Cranberry Bog. And I was like, you know what? I just want to see it. I was like, I know I'm not leveled up enough at level 30, but I want to see it. So we go down there, and he was taking out some Scorch Beasts, and I was getting a couple shots, getting some experience.
Yeah.
Well, this last one, man, we couldn't get it. Every time we tried to fire on it, it would fly away. I go get in his base. It was right there under Fort Defiance, right on the outskirts of Watoga.
Yeah.
And I go inside, and I was checking my phone real quick because I had a text message. I swear to God, all of a sudden, that thing just destroyed his base. In a matter of 20 seconds, he dropped the radiated mist, whatever it is.
Blight.
It dropped that, and so my health is just dropping. And I was like, hey, dude. And he had gone into Fort Defiance. I was like, you might want to come back. I was like, because I'm not doing any damage on this thing. So then I die. And like as soon as I respawn, his base is just gone.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, that's why my buddy moved his base to Charleston. But it was cool because he had it set up on like a lead
deposit.
Like a lead deposit, and he had the machines that were mining it all for him. So I think he recently found another deposit that would be better.
Yeah, there's a lot of deposits. I originally had a deposit camp. Oh gosh, and I did junk. It was just like a junk deposit. It was over near Fort Defiance, the original one. But yeah, there's a lot of great places for.
I think mine is right next to a copper deposit. I didn't want to put it over it because it was kind of hilly.
Yeah,
I put it.
It's always in a weird location.
Yeah, mine is near. I think Fort or Camp McClintock.
Camp McClintock.
Yeah, McClintock. Yeah, so it's near that, and there's or near no. I'll tell you where it is. It's near Sutton. And there's kind of like the road that goes up through Sutton, and there's another road over here, like a highway.
Yeah,
and there's a like kind of a grassy. A lot of trees. I found this big open spot between the two roads, and I just stretched it across it.
It's funny when you're talking about this game, and it's like these are real life places, and so like this conversation to somebody that doesn't listen to this be like, Sutton, the road that there's the road that goes like over there by it, and then you've got the highway, and then I decided I want to go camping right, kind of like in between the.
But it's funny because as much kind of slack as I gave the game at the beginning, I've gotten to the point where
you're in it.
I've gotten really into it, and I'm playing catch up right now. It's been really fun to again play with some listeners. I'm sorry if I haven't gotten to play with you. I've gotten some invites, but it always seems like it's when either I'm about to log off or if I log in on my phone.
Yeah.
If I'm checking my app on my phone, I guess sometimes it shows that I'm online, and I've gotten invitations, and I've been at like Walmart or something, so I haven't obviously been able to accept it. So again, if I have seemingly ignored your invite or your request, it's not intentional. I promise you.
Intentional.
I would love to play with as many people as possible. So if you see me on, keep sending the invites. If I'm there, I will accept it. So. There's that. But
well, you know what? We're going to crucify you. This is a collective.
I don't want to seem like a jerk. I don't want anyone to feel like, I'm just like, I'm too good to play with you. No, it's more than likely either because I'm like stuffing my face with food and I'm not even at my PlayStation or I'm about to leave my apartment. But yeah, it's been fun because, and like I told you, I finally kind of made my way over to Harper's Ferry and I'm starting to get into the mire a little bit more now. Yeah. Finding the power armor was clutch. I had the power armor suit. I just didn't have the actual armor.
The actual armor. Once you get the actual armor.
Yeah, and I'm missing a left leg armor. But having the helmet, the torso, all of that good stuff has been very beneficial in me staying alive longer when I'm going up against higher level enemies, which has then in turn obviously increased my level.
Right.
It's funny how that works, isn't it? Killing higher level enemies,
staying
alive. Wow, you get better at the game.
Yeah.
But it's been cool, and I obviously am working toward. I think at level 35, I have another set of power armor that I can actually wear. So I'm getting closer to that. So we'll get there. My biggest thing is fusion cores. It seemed like before I had the power armor, I would see them everywhere, and I didn't really.
You should have been playing the game, Austin, when the fusion cores like fell from the sky.
Were they everywhere?
And it was just like you killed a robo brain, and every time they dropped like 100% fusion cores, and you go and you could like
all of the ones I find are like 50%.
You could go to the power plants and you could start their generators, and then you were getting like 4 fusion cores every 20 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. I've started to maybe see a little bit more of. I've discovered a few locations where it seems like every time I reload into a new world every day, there's one there.
Yeah.
So I'm trying. I'm at least kind of staying consistently. I think I have like 9 right now, so I'm good. But
I have a location for wood that I go to that.
I always go to the lumber yard up in the top left of the map. Where do you go?
I'll say it on the podcast just because I like helping people, but I'm afraid if I say it, it'll get patched out because every time I go there, I get like 300 wood in like 2 minutes.
Where is it?
I think it's called Sylvan and Sons Logging Camp. It's in the Savage Divide. It's on the like upper right side, like it's below the pumpkin house.
I still haven't gone to the pumpkin house.
Yeah, it's like way below the pumpkin house, and it's this tent, and if you have the perk for harvesting wood, it's like a ton of log piles just all together. And so I was like, I wonder how I'm going to go so I've been going through each location and trying to discover them. And so I found this camp and I was like, okay, there's a lot of wood here. Let me put on this thing. Let me see how much I can get. And I looked at my inventory. I was like, 300 wood. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah. When I go to the lumber yard and it's way up
in the forest.
It's like the top left, very top left of the map.
I've been up there.
Typically, the only problem is there's a lot of super mutants.
Super mutant time.
But typically, I can leave there with 200 or 300, but it takes a little longer because it's a little more spread out. But yeah, I've found like Camden Park, great place to find that fusion core there and their generator. The pharmaceutical place just outside of Morgantown is another good one. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of junk to find, a lot of loot. So yeah, I just think it's funny because some of my friends that I've talked to, they're like, "Oh yeah, I have like 70 fusion cores."
Yeah,
because they said early on it was just kind of just everywhere. So I don't know. I'm excited to get out of the Raider armor.
You used to be able to store fusion cores on power armor so that they wouldn't weigh anymore. And so my Ultra Sight power armor I never use, and so it has like 14 fusion cores on. But once I take them off, I can't put them back on because that's been patched out, and so it's just like that's like the rainy day supply of fusion cores. It's like whenever I run out. But I used to run around in power armor all the time, and now I don't.
See, like right now I am, but I feel like once I get up higher again, I'll stop.
Yeah.
But for now, just how much it's helped me level up way quicker. I mean, I'm like, oh, this is great.
It really augments your defense and your resistance. Just
I feel like I can take on anything in it. Like, I don't think I've died in power armor yet.
Yeah.
But before, it was like, I'm going up against a bunch of like level 12, 13, 14 super mutants shooting at me. And if I'm not careful, like, I got to watch out. Like, I'm almost level 30, but
so you're like Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
You need to get to the point where Tony's like, am I Iron Man without the suit?
Yeah, it's, right now, like, I'm actually literally almost Iron Man 1 because I'm in such a makeshift Raider suit.
Yeah, the Raider
like, I'm in like an old
suit,
rusty, like, just rusted out piece of crap suit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get into like some Brotherhood. Something, You
can get the excavator one.
How do you? Someone was telling me about one that would be pretty easy to get. I got this one. I went up to where was I? I think I was in Clarksburg when
45s,
I found it.
51s, and 60s spawn randomly.
Yeah.
And I think those are different now of how they spawn. It used to be. So I did a lot of like jumping between servers for a while to get the 51 that I wanted. And in the process of getting the 51 I wanted, I got the 45. And the 60 as well, so it was like, well,
I ended
got to
up
catch them all.
I found another one at Camden Park, under the roller coaster. They have the little setup down there, and then there were a couple other ones I found. In due time, I'll find it.
You'll get it. So my thing to give you, well, first of all, here's the thing. Let's go back.
Okay.
You're over here on the Twitter talking some smack.
Yeah, well, Mondo Burger, I decided like it wasn't fair to you, so I just made it a normal camp again.
So Mondo Burger is gone?
Lives on in our hearts. You got to go out on top, man. I went out on top.
You went on top? Is that the case? Yeah.
Went out on top.
Do you have any grand plans? Maybe once you get some more plans, you get some more stuff.
I'm just gonna start I'm really interested in like philanthropy now. Like I don't really need to do I don't need to sell stuff to people and to do all of this competition with inferior restaurants. And I went into 2019 saying love and positivity. That's all I'm about. And so I don't have any room for it. I think that my plan now is just to help others. I think that's all we can do as a society in real life and in Appalachia. So it's Yeah. I think.
Well, you see, the theme of Fallout is that capitalism rules.
Yeah. See.
If there's anything that Liberty Prime taught me, it's that. So the Squat and Gobble recently says, food. We're big into food.
Yeah. I mean, it's not great food.
There's
but
only
it's
one
food.
other
It's
place that we could possibly go in the land of selling these items.
Yeah.
Drugs.
Yeah.
So I have found a bunch of recipes for Psycho and the Overdrive and Fury and different stuff, and with the different perks for chemistry and Super Duper and all this different stuff. I have been amassing a horde of drugs to sell.
Well, I hope it was worth it because the police are on their way.
I'm just saying, they can come get me. My cannibal butt will be sitting at the Squat and Gobble, which ideally, by the way, I didn't even plan this, but then I thought about the Squat and Gobble. What do you got to do to be a cannibal? Got to squat and gobble.
Oh my god!
So there you go. It's like now like immemorializing the cannibal ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting on player vending to come out, and then I'll have my lineup of items, and it'll be like
your line.
My line, yes. It's like the official Dave Chaffins of Vault Boys WV Squat and Gobble premier designer consumable line. And it'll be that long, and I'll have to copyright it, and it'll be a pain in the butt, but I'll do it.
That makes me think maybe we need Vault Boy merch.
That makes me think. What are we gonna? Is it gonna be me, like a picture of me?
I think
bent over, devouring.
I was gonna say, where are you going with this, man? I was like, hold on, you can't have a pause after that. Are you just like turned around, like bent over for the camera? Like, what were we going for here? We could do graphic tees.
We could do.
Mondo Burger over here, just towering over your puny little establishment.
No, I don't think. You know what? I'm gonna run a poll and see who likes the now dead Mondo Burger.
Mondo Burger's not dead.
Oh, really? Where is it?
Listen, heroes get remembered, but legends never die. So
Mondo Burger lives in our hearts, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's never dead. It's never truly gone. Once a week, I go by where it was and pay my respect. And
I did manage in the last episode, one final thing, is I managed to fulfill my promise, and I ended up building the Thirsty Moth, which you haven't been to the new Thirsty Moth yet. You saw a prototype version.
I saw the prototype version of it. But no, I have not yet been to the new one.
The new Thirsty Moth is attached to the Squat and Gobble.
Yes.
You have to go down the alleyway so it's like a hidden entrance.
Do you have like a guard, like a guy that you have to walk by and be like, "What's up, Vinny?" And he lets you in.
It's so narrow, you want to think of it.
Yeah.
And so you go down there, you go in, and it's like a bar, like on the street. Like you go in, you walk in, and
it's a narrow little walkway that no one would think there's anything down.
Right.
It's genius.
So you go up the stairs, and up the stairs, I've got my full bar. I've got the chemistry station. Yeah. I've got a grand piano. It's like a piano bar, pool table, some chairs, and some what?
Poker.
I wish I had poker. Yeah. Now that would be, if they added in, here's the thing. Cool. If they added in poker and blackjack like they had in New Vegas in this game, I'm done.
That would be pretty cool. I mean, think about it. You could run a poker club. Like, you could legit, that's crazy.
And let me tell you something. That's wild. That's wild. Now.
Maybe with some future DLC or patch updates.
And get some poker, get
I don't know.
That would be good. Have like a New Vegas season. That would be cool. Good.
That would be real cool.
Put in some of the songs from New Vegas on the radio station.
You know what, though?
Get that NCR, you could get that Ranger armor, and you don't have to call it, you could call it West Virginia Ranger armor.
True.
And you get like
Think about this, though. Like, we haven't even gotten to mods yet in this game. I'm excited. I think there's some cool possibilities for mods with 76.
I'm just interested in seeing because obviously they've got to go through and they've got to get these bugs fixed, and they've got faction PvP coming, which I'm curious about. Yeah. The player vending, of course, I'm curious about, and then they're adding on servers that don't have any of the PvP restrictions, so it's just like.
I mean, but realistically, I think at least I believe people are going to come running back to the game once they realize it's fixed.
Yeah.
And they're doing a lot more cool things.
I would like to see, while I'm on the subject of that, I would like to see those seasons, though. Like a new Vegas season, a Fallout 3 season where you get tunnel snake stuff. And like,
I think it would be cool. I'm just speaking of seasons literally, I think it would be cool if they did weather changes.
I think that would be cool.
Especially in the forest.
I think they could do it just in the forest.
If there's growth,
yeah,
have
because
winter,
it's the most
have
traveled
fall.
area. That is
well, it's already kind of fall there, but
it's like the perpetual perfect West Virginia season there.
Yeah,
whatever that be.
I just think it would be cool to see snow in certain regions.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just think it's something they could maybe toy around with, which I'm sure that idea has at some point crossed their minds. If they will bring that to fruition, who knows?
We will see.
It would be cool to see, though.
Yes. So with that, we'll get into our next segment. So Austin, this week I've got I would call it a mini topic. And it's not particularly West Virginia related, other than it just kind of the concept of it is unique to Fallout and to some of the things that we have here. But the Raiders. In Fallout 76.
Raiders. That's an NFL joke for you there.
I'm not familiar. Is that like
topical?
Is it the Tampa Bay Raiders?
Oh my God!
Are we talking about the Tampa Bay Raiders?
Are they about the Tampa Bay Raiders?
Are they in Tampa Bay still?
The Oakland Raiders. They were never in Tampa. That's the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. God, big NFL guy.
There's too many pirates. You got like ECU. You got the Pirates.
That's college.
There.
That's not even the NFL.
You got like what is it? You got the Pittsburgh Penguins or Pirates or whatever.
Penguins.
Is it the Pirates or the Pirates up there?
The Penguins. Classic.
No, the Pirates.
Classic looting. No, yes, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Are they a football team?
They are a baseball team.
Oh, they're a baseball team.
And you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What about
the Oakland Raiders? Well, actually, they're about to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh.
Which actually, perfect.
Perfect. Yes.
I hate that they're leaving Oakland, but it makes sense.
You've never been to Oakland, so shut your mouth.
No, I'm just saying the fact that Las Vegas is going to have the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders have a kind of notoriety about them of the type of just hard-nosed, sometimes very, we're just going to say gritty football that they play.
Well, that's reminiscent.
And very, a lot of people think they're dirty. Very dirty team sometimes. So going to Vegas, it just makes sense. I see the vision. I don't have a problem with it.
I'm down with it.
Plus Oakland, like right across the bay, you've got the San Francisco 49ers. They've got a team. They're fine. It's whatever. They don't need two teams right there.
Well, on a different Raider note, outside of the Tampa Bay
Raiders.
Penguineers,
Raiders.
Snowshoe,
Winter Place,
the other ski resorts,
Canaan Valley,
Timberline. Yeah. What other ones? You got any others?
In terms of resorts in West Virginia,
not like just like hills that you sled on.
Oglebay up near Wheeling has skiing, but they're not as they are like a resort, and it's an amazing place. But in terms of like an actual, like you're in the mountains, and there's all sorts of crazy trails. Those that I listed are more so the actual resorts. Oglebay just has like winter sports in other ways, but it's still a great place. But
so they've kind of, in the world of Fallout 76, combined all of these, and before the bombs fell, all of these winter sports resorts were all along one mountain range, essentially right in the middle in the Savage Divide, which I'm sure they didn't call the Savage Divide.
Savage.
Welcome to the Savage Divide. So essentially, in the game, all of these well-to-do, some would say upper-class people, were up skiing when the bombs fell. And they were like, okay, we need help. And so they contacted the people in Charleston, which were at the time the proto-responders. Yeah. And they were like, we don't have the resources to send them up to your mountain. And so
color on your own.
And so what they decided was they were like, okay, well, we'll just eat what we have here. They ate what they have there. And then they were like, okay, we need things.
Yeah.
And nobody's giving us anything, so we've got to go take some stuff.
Yeah.
And
Thus
that's how
began
the Raiders.
Raiders.
Is that Raiders?
So it stems. It's a long football story, but that's you have to say it that way. Raiders.
Well, anyways, there was 5 factions that were created.
Yes.
My favorite being the Gourmands, which is probably most definitely on the nose reference to the New Vegas Raider clan that owned a casino. That they were all cannibals. Not much is known about them other than I think their leader got turned into a Wendigo.
Yeah.
Wendigo. And I'm saying it like that. And
Wendigo ate your baby.
Yeah, I call it Wendigo. I think it's called a Wendigo. I think that's what
Wendigo, I believe.
Wendigo.
A Wendigo.
A dingo baby.
A dingo ate your baby. Okay, we'll keep going.
Anyways, the trappers who enjoy setting traps and explosives.
Yep.
The Blackwater Bandits who were known for
My favorite name.
their stealth.
Yeah.
And the Cutthroats who were like the quintessential run of the mill
Honorable
raiders.
mention name.
And then the Diehards who didn't want to kill innocents unless they absolutely had to.
So they're like the sort of, if you go to Red Dead, they're like the Vanderlyn gang. Like they take stuff, but they try to be reasonable people.
Well, it's like it's kind of like Snape and Harry Potter. You know,
Yeah.
it's like God, Snape is so
Yeah.
terribly mean, but you know what?
He's got
he's
his heart's in the right place.
right. He's not Voldemort.
Yeah. Like they'll kill if they have to, but they'll spare people.
Yeah, he's fine.
So we just did a lot of. I don't know. You know.
Yeah. Who is that? Jay Leno. So I had the question: in the way that we play Fallout 76, in the way that it is set up,
Yes.
philosophically, are we the players raiders?
And that's the thing. In a certain way, I think I am, but I don't think I am.
You don't like define.
I think that if any of them, I would be the last group that tends to be more reasonable and sane and not just killing everyone. Because I do loot and I go through and steal and whatever, but I'm pretty friendly. I would help. I would think that I would help people.
And so to me, it's like, what is a raider?
Yeah, like where do they cross the line into being a raider? Like, what point are you not just trying to survive, and then you're like, oh no, I'm a raider?
And so in previous Fallout games, you're either part of a faction,
Yes,
you are part of a town,
Yes,
or you are like an NPC farmer that lives in Bumbutt somewhere. Bumbutt, yeah. And you don't really have much of a motivation when you're out there, but your other people are more connected. Whereas in this game, there are no, there's cities, but there's no, central connection.
Yeah.
And there's people that could, self-identify as a faction. So, you could self-identify as, I want to play the game like Brotherhood of Steel and wear the armor, and I'm going to go do this and take technology from these people, and it goes into the whole thing of are the Brotherhood Raiders and in their own aspect. But within the game, what we do is we're going and we're taking stuff. The stuff that we're getting is not, other than when we have resource extractors. Most of the time, we're just picking junk up. We're making stuff.
But it kind of goes back to the idea of, if you look at anyone's perspective, you look at the quote unquote bad guys' perspective from their point of view. The good guys are the bad guys,
right?
I mean, it becomes, if you watch The Walking Dead from Negan's perspective, from them, all of a sudden you start looking at Rick and all of these other people as bad people. They are just as bad in some ways. So then you
Yeah.
can start to see them as bad people. So really, yeah, it's like, are the Raiders the bad guys? Like, are they terrible people? Are they like, what's...
That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like originally they had asked the responders to like for supplies and stuff, and the responders said, "No, we're not helping you." So it's like
so they were forced into
it's
this
kind of
life.
like that like Dark Knight-esque thing where the responders kind of made the Raiders because they couldn't help them and they couldn't do
exactly
these tasks and duties.
Pretty much. I mean, it all comes down to that, and it's like, can you really blame them? I mean, if they're in a situation where they have to start fending for themselves and surviving, that's the thing. And that's one
it's
thing
like
about...
if you were trapped there on a mountain,
you're going to do what you can.
You're like...
Morals go out the window in a lot of ways.
If the apocalypse happens while I'm at snowshoe skiing...
Yeah.
There's nothing up there.
It'd be a wonderful place to be stuck, though.
I mean, that's true, but there's nothing... Like, once
in terms
you run
of
out
resources, you're far away from a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. And that's one of the most fascinating things to me about the thought of post-apocalyptic life and post-apocalyptic movies and books and whatever, is just like, you don't know what it would make you do in situations. Right. I don't think anybody would know until they are thrust into that situation what they're capable of doing that maybe they didn't think they were, and what type of person they might become to survive.
I think that's why The Last of Us is such a popular game. Yeah. Is because that is the whole story of like this guy. Like what this guy lived this normal life, he was doing fine, and then it's like this event happens and it's like, what does that do to his psyche and his motivations and the people that he knows in the world?
And it just sort of... It's like, man, like some people, a lot of people are not going to be able to survive. Mm-hmm. And then some people that maybe in the real world right now, you would look at them and think, oh, there's no way they'd make it. Right. Those people would be the ones that are out there just being badasses, doing whatever they want to do. Right. And whatever they can do. And it's like, I think that maybe in that situation, I feel like with people, a switch is flipped and they're just like, all right, I'm surviving. And that's, I think, with the Raiders, you look at it and you're like, okay, they had to.
Right. And I think it's interesting that they created this like uneasy alliance between everyone.
Yeah.
And then took all of their valuables, all of the stuff that they like originally came to, put it in a room, locked the door, and gave everybody a piece of the key, essentially.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, pretty much. And going back to like, if we play as Raiders, I mean, at a certain point, I think everybody in that world is kind of a Raider in their own way.
I think that now it's like there's like a line, and it's interesting to be put in Charleston. That's kind of this like, is it a Raider settlement? Is it a responder settlement? It's like, well, it was responder, and then it was Raider, and then it's like,
if you think about it, the responders seem to sort of be gone.
Yeah.
And everyone is sort of on their own. So in a way, you are a Raider at that point. Like you are having to get your own supplies and your own help, and you're having to loot through things. And
I think that oftentimes it's like, you know, what are you trying to do within the game? And it's like, if you were purely there to like help people and get together with people, then maybe you're not a Raider. Yeah. Like maybe you
can be different things, but I think in the way that we seem to have, with you doing the Squat and Gobble, like that's helping people.
I would go so far as to say that your average, well, I mean, Squat and Gobble is very much so Raider-esque, where it's like, I'm this crazy mutated man that leaps from rooftops with knives and sells people weird food and drugs. Yeah. It's like, I'm like...
That's true. You have a point. But at the same time, you're sort of like in between, I think. Because you're helping people. You're not just killing everybody.
It's like, it's selfish in a way.
Here's the thing that I wonder. If the game didn't have the PvP system it has, and you could just straight up, rather than if by level, it made it easier to kill another person PvP, rather than where it seems like it's kind of an even playing field. Even playing field. If you had that power, that you knew you were just a bad man and you could take anybody, would you engage more people PvP?
That's an interesting concept. I think that if that was the game, like base level.
Yeah. Would you just become this man that steals from everyone?
I think maybe at first I think that would be maybe something that I'd be interested in, but then I would still want to do like I would still want to function as a merchant within the game. Like I would still be there for like making money, and it's like not worth it when everybody's after you. You know?
Well, I feel like there would be a lot of people out there that would. They would just go and kill everyone and everything they could if they knew that they didn't have to be like, oh, well, maybe they have to shoot back and it's going to take their health down slow. If they could go around and be like, nah, I'm like a level 100. These level 10s, I'm going to headshot them and take all their stuff and move on. I think you would see a very dark side to people on Fallout just taking advantage, and you would see that sort of... you'd be able to tell what type of person a person's going to be in the apocalypse by like if they abuse that power, I guess. True. To an extent. Because obviously in real life, these people, when they know there are actual consequences, different thoughts are going to go through their head. But it's interesting to think, like, if they did away with that slowed, health drain of PvP. But I don't know.
So I kind of wanted to dip into that, like, philosophy a little bit today.
I had never really thought about that. And I had not thought about who I really... Because it is a role-playing game. But the last few weeks, have not really thought about who I am in the grand scheme of things. So
this is one of the few games where you get to define your role. You are self-motivated to do. Like, there's obviously your mission involves meeting all of these different factions. But are you like I mean,
which one are you going to choose?
Technically, you're a member of all of them, but technically, you're also not. Really
which one do you want to follow the closest? I guess.
Right. So this is a little philosophy, get you thinking.
Yeah.
So my last segment that I have today is I want to talk about our favorite weapons that we've encountered within the game. So I have a few favorites. Right now, I used to play with this like big freaking... You've seen my like...
Yeah.
I need to name it something stupid. Just
Big
because
Bertha.
that's... Big Bertha, I don't know. I would call it like Diddly Dumfries for all I care. But I have been really into knives here recently. For me, just like how I played the game, I've gone through rifles, shotguns, pistols, heavy guns, explosives, big hammers, and baseball bats. But the knives are my favorite.
True.
Just because they're so freaking fast.
Slash.
And I was testing it out of like getting a hammer and like seeing how much damage I could do with just the hammer, but then the same like equivalent perks for both.
Yeah.
And then getting the knives out, and then with the speed that I swing a knife, I do way more damage if I can get those hits in. And I think it's more fun when you got this guy that just jumps down.
You seem to have more control with the knife.
Yeah,
because with a big, huge axe or something, it's swing, and then you have to wait, and then swing. And you're getting hit in between each one. With that knife, if you're powerful enough, it's like pop, 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 done. Like they don't even get a hit in.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's been my favorite. What about you? What's your favorite?
So I have really been drawn to the combat shotgun. It's just been the most consistently useful weapon for me.
Yes.
But lately, I've really gotten into, like I told you, the Black Diamond, the ski sword.
The ski sword.
That you get after one of the like raider quests.
I think it's funny that they have ski swords and then we have snowshoe. Ski sword, snowshoe.
So I have done the mod on it with like all of the crazy razor blades instead of the ice skates on the side.
Yes.
Because it's more, I think it's armor piercing with the razors, whereas the ski... It was just they bleed more, I guess. But I've just found that I think I prefer the armor piercing, especially when I'm going up against super mutants and stuff like that. Yeah. But I've loved that. The shotgun has been good, and then I've always, I feel like in all Fallout games I've always loved shotguns. Yeah. Out of all the guns, I feel like where I've always been more of a running gun, I get closer. I've had like a glow sighted hunting rifle. And I've done a few mods on it to make it a little more efficient and, faster reloads and a little bit, higher magazine capacity, so I don't feel like I'm reloading every 2 seconds. And just for more range stuff, that's been pretty good. And that was one I just found, so I've been able to keep that up. But yeah, shotguns and Black Diamond, those are the two I feel like I'm always repairing and making sure I have ready to go. So
I'm with it. I'm down. So I've got just a few little reader mails, and it's nothing like no real questions, but just some people that wrote into the podcast. This is from Josh. He says, "Hello, I've been playing on Xbox One, listening to the podcast to steer me towards picking up a copy on PS4. Hopefully to see you guys in the game and be an active part of the community. Keep up the good work. Hope you guys have a Mothman-filled new year."
Yeah, man.
I'm literally pulling these up on my phone. This one is from Kirk. He says, "Love this podcast and love to add you guys friends and go to the restaurant as well. My tag is PAPG005201. You can rewind that if you want to hear me say it again. I'm not going to say it again, but I'm going to take the time to explain to you that I'm not going to say it again, which is, I guess, whatever. So he says, go ahead and add him so that you can play.
I think he sent us. That's who sent us the request today. So we'll have to play with
Was
him.
it that? Okay.
Yeah, that was him.
We get friend requests. Most of the time, as long as if you just say podcast in the message,
we'll
or you
accept
have Austin as a mutual friend,
Yeah.
I'll excuse me, Duke 69 Silver as a mutual friend,
Yeah.
then it's like,
Again, yes.
you're cool in
Duke
my book.
69 Silver.
And I am CHAFI. Nope.
Yep. We're gonna start that over.
CHAFINZ.
Yes.
CHAFINZ.
And Duke.
I used to do a lot of
69
spelling,
Silver.
and then my wife told me that she was annoyed by me spelling everything out, and I was like, yeah, I bet that is annoying, me having to spell out VAULT or however.
VAULTBOYS.
That's why I shortened that intro, is because, every time I'd go to record that intro, it would be like a crazy kerfuffle, and we couldn't. It was a crazy kerfuffle, and we couldn't get the show started, and it was a wild time. So for today, Austin, that's it. Don't forget to email us your questions at vaultboyswv@gmail.com. Not going to spell that, like I said. Check us out on social media at vaultboyspod. We actually changed that. We're on Twitter, vaultboyspod. That way you know it's a podcast. And I think on Instagram, we're vaultboyswv podcast, which is a mouthful. We're on Facebook. I need to post more on Facebook, so I'm sorry I have not been doing that.
There's just like some person just sitting there.
Well, people
why
like
have
the
they
Facebook
not posted
page.
on Facebook?
People like the Facebook page, and it's not set up. I don't like the page set up.
Yeah,
it's way easier for me to tweet my own thoughts and stuff into that. Your Twitter handle. What's your Twitter handle?
Twitter
now?
handle OCONNOR_93.
And I'm at CHAFFIN_Z. That's ZZZ. And I tried to change that to my gamer tag. Somebody already has that. Tried to change it to my name. Somebody already has that.
That's weird.
So I'm stuck with being very sleepy for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Let's see. From Holler to Highway, guess what? We've got you covered 6 ways a Sunday. Tune in next week for more talk radio on your favorite Appalachian station. And may the wisest Mothman bless you as you travel these country roads. Raiders.
We are good.
Hello. Take this.
Speaking to the mic.